So let me tell you something about the newest idiocy when it comes to planning and money making and also guarding and protecting your energy from energy vampires. Because energy vampires can be a lot. It doesn't necessarily need to be people. It can be plans and it can be thoughts in your head and it can be a lot of stuff. I'll give an example here by what I mean. So recently I just read that a big railroad company in a country, I'm not going to say which, I'm not going to say the name of the railroad company. However, the railroad company wanted to spend 40 million US dollars on the making of a new railway station, or on the building of a new railway station. So they issued like an offer bid to potential contractors. The contractors returned with their assessments and their calculations about how much money this project would have cost. It turned out that the calculation of the railroad company would be the client were that its calculations were so off that they couldn't even move forward with a project. They didn't say how much, but they just said it was off by a lot, which maybe that means that the contractors, delivered bids that were up to maybe $50 million, maybe $60 million, maybe 70, maybe 80, who knows? All we know is that it was off by a lot. And so they canceled the bid round simply because they hadn't done a good enough job of calculating the assessments in the first place. What is that? What's that a sign of? It's a sign of inefficiency, stupidity, and lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, and also arrogance. Oh, I think they're doing this, but I actually didn't know they were thinking in another way because they didn't take into account price, inflation, adjustments, all sorts of different stuff, and how the various contractors run their business. Now, that was a month ago. No, not even a month ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Today, I'm getting notified that the entire project has been canceled because they couldn't build a new railroad station with just $40 million. There needed to be more money. And guess what? They've spent $7 million in planning expenses so far. Think about that, $7 million. It's almost 25% of the entire bidding sum that they originally thought that they could invest or use as a budget to build a railroad station. I don't know for how many years they've spent doing this, but I do know this. This is a massive energy thief in and of itself. Not so much the people, because the people are just stupid, but the various processes, the time suck, the justification, and the incessant need to kick the can down the road and not realize that, hey, maybe we should just pour more money into this because the markets don't want to work for us. Think about that. All of those intangibles are really massive time and energy sucks, massive time and energy thieves. See, energy thieves don't need to be people. Energy vampires don't need to be people. Time vampires, time thieves, whatever you want to call them, don't necessarily need to be people. They can be these processes as well. And in this case, if you have a bunch of arrogant turds who wank off to the idea of building cheap and saving money in a downward economy when they know that companies are struggling and their profit margins are thin, and sometimes their roads so that they're not even in profit, they're in a loss, and they still want to move forward with building cheap, and they're so arrogant they don't even understand how the contractors are working, then that's what you get. You get these intangible energy thieves, these intangible time thieves. Time and energy vampires don't need to be people. They can be both tangible and intangible energy processes. Remember that. And I guess that's all I have to say, really. Yeah, I think I'm done ranting. If you want to learn more about time and energy management and how to avoid time and energy vampires, go get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is below the episode description, wherever you're watching or listening to this, and I'll see you later.